Imagine this. You feel completely fine. You're active, you don't get winded climbing stairs, and your doctor has never mentioned anything alarming. Then, during a routine checkup, you're told your LDL cholesterol is high, dangerously high. You sit there in shock, thinking, but I feel fine. How can something be wrong? This is the silent reality of LDL, often labeled the bad cholesterol. It works in the shadows, quietly building up in your arteries like unseen rust in a water pipe. And one day, without warning, that buildup can lead to a heart attack or stroke. No pain, no symptoms, just a sudden, life-changing event. Here's the thing. In the US alone, nearly 94 million adults have high cholesterol levels, and most don't even know it. But the good news? We have options. Natural, proven strategies to lower LDL without relying solely on medication. Today, I'm going to share 5 scientifically backed techniques to bring down LDL cholesterol naturally. And I'll do it in a way that's not just about facts and numbers. You'll hear real stories from real people who turned their health around. So stick around until the end, because your life or the life of someone you love might depend on understanding this. Technique number 1, boost soluble fiber intake. When we talk about cholesterol, most people think about avoiding fatty foods. But here's something surprising. The key to removing cholesterol from your body might actually be found in fiber, specifically soluble fiber. Think of soluble fiber as a sponge that moves through your digestive tract. As it travels, it soaks up LDL cholesterol, binds to it, and carries it out of your body before it can enter your bloodstream. This isn't some fad, it's basic biology. Where do you find it? Oats and oatmeal, beans and lentils, apples, pears and citrus fruits, carrots and sweet potatoes, flax seeds and chia seeds. And here's the science. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, just 5 to 10 grams of soluble fiber a day can lower LDL by 5 to 10%. That's a noticeable shift without touching a pill bottle. Meet Margaret, a 67-year-old retired teacher from Ohio. She had always been careful about her diet, but during a checkup, her LDL came back at 168 milligrams per deciliter, well above healthy levels. Instead of panicking, she started small. Each morning, she swapped her usual toast for a warm bowl of oatmeal, topped with blueberries and a sprinkle of flaxseed. 3 months later, her LDL dropped to 142. She didn't starve herself, she didn't take expensive supplements. She simply added these sponge foods to her daily routine. Technique number 2, switch to healthy fats. Now, let's talk about fats, because not all fats are villains. In fact, some can be your heart's best friend. Here's the simple breakdown. Saturated fats, found in red meat, full-fat dairy, and butter, tend to raise LDL cholesterol. Unsaturated fats, found in olive oil, avocados, nuts, and fatty fish, can lower LDL and even raise HDL, the good cholesterol, that helps sweep away the bad stuff. The American Heart Association reports that replacing just 5% of your daily calories from saturated fats with unsaturated fats can significantly reduce LDL levels. Practical swaps. Use olive oil for salad dressings instead of creamy dressings. Cook with coconut oil for a hint of natural sweetness. Snack on almonds or walnuts instead of chips. Choose salmon or mackerel over steak a few nights a week. The Davis family in Oregon made this exact shift. For years, they cooked almost every meal with butter and ate red meat 3 to 4 times a week. After their father's cholesterol spiked, they decided to experiment. Olive oil replaced butter, avocados replaced mayo, and fish replaced half their meat dinners. 2 months later, his LDL dropped by 22 points, and surprisingly, the whole family preferred the new flavors. We've covered how soluble fiber and healthy fats can make a massive difference in just weeks. But food is only half the equation. In the next part, we're going to explore how movement, lesser-known nutrients, and even your mental health can directly influence your cholesterol levels, sometimes more than your diet. If you'd like, I can now move on to part 2 of the rewritten script, which will cover exercise, plant sterols, and stanols with more real-life examples. Would you like me to continue? Technique number 3, make movement a daily non-negotiable. We've all heard it, exercise is good for you. But when it comes to lowering LDL cholesterol, movement isn't just good, it's a game changer. And I'm not talking about training for a marathon or spending hours in the gym. Regular physical activity does 2 key things. It boosts your HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol that acts like a cleanup crew, sweeping LDL out of your arteries. And it helps your body metabolize fats more efficiently, meaning less LDL floating around in your bloodstream. The beauty? Even moderate activity works. Walking, cycling, swimming, gardening, if it gets your heart rate up, it counts. The science says, a study in arteriosclerosis, thrombosis, and vascular biology found that 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week could increase HDL by up to 8% and significantly lower LDL. Carlos, a 55-year-old accountant from Texas, was told his LDL was borderline high at 152 milligrams per deciliter. He wasn't an athlete, far from it, but he made one small change. Every day at lunch, instead of scrolling through his phone at his desk, he walked around the block for 20 minutes. In 3 months, without changing his diet, his LDL dropped to 138 and his HDL went up. His doctor called it the walking prescription. Technique number 4, harness the power of plant sterols and stanols. This is where it gets a little sciencey, but stick with me, it's worth it. Plant sterols and stanols are naturally occurring substances in plants that have a structure similar to cholesterol. Because of this, when they enter your digestive system, they compete with LDL cholesterol for absorption. The result? Less LDL makes it into your bloodstream. Where to find them naturally? Nuts and seeds, whole grains like barley and rye, vegetable oils, especially canola and sunflower. You can also find fortified foods, like certain margarines, orange juices, and yogurts, that have added plant sterols. According to the National Institutes of Health, consuming 2 grams of plant sterols per day can lower LDL cholesterol by 5 to 15%. Nina, a busy nurse from Chicago, didn't have time for elaborate diet plans, but she started eating a small handful of walnuts and pumpkin seeds every day, along with switching her bread to whole grain rye. 6 weeks later, her LDL numbers had dipped by 12%. She laughed when her doctor asked what supplement she was taking. Her answer was, just plants. Technique number 5, stress and sleep, the silent cholesterol influencers. We often think cholesterol is purely about what we eat, but here's a surprising truth. Your mental state and sleep habits can quietly sabotage your heart health. Stress triggers the release of cortisol, a hormone that can increase cholesterol production in the liver. Chronic stress also tends to push people toward comfort eating, often foods high in saturated fats and sugar. Poor sleep, especially less than 6 hours a night, has been linked to higher LDL and lower HDL levels. Sleep deprivation can disrupt the body's ability to process fats, and it ramps up inflammation, which accelerates artery damage. The science says, a European Heart Journal study showed that adults with high stress and poor sleep patterns had up to 50% higher risk of developing dangerous cholesterol levels over 5 years. Practical ways to improve? Mindful breaks. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing can reduce cortisol. Sleep hygiene. Keep a consistent bedtime, reduce screen time before bed, and keep your room cool and dark. Physical relaxation. Stretching or light yoga before bed helps lower both stress and heart rate. Liam, a small business owner in New York, had LDL levels that refused to drop despite diet changes. His doctor finally asked about his lifestyle, and it turned out he was sleeping only 5 hours a night and living in a constant state of stress. By committing to 7 hours of sleep and practicing 10 minutes of guided meditation every evening, his LDL fell by 15 points in just 2 months. He didn't change a single thing about his diet. We've now talked about food, movement, and the mind-body connection. In the final part, we'll pull it all together, covering how to combine these techniques into a sustainable lifestyle, plus the one mindset shift that makes the biggest difference in sticking with it for life. And I'll share a story that proves it's never too late to turn your numbers and your health around. Bringing it all together. Your daily heart health blueprint. By now, you've got a toolkit of 5 powerful, natural techniques to help lower LDL cholesterol. 1. Eat more soluble fiber. 2. Choose healthy fats over harmful ones. 3. Move your body every single day. 4. Add plant sterols and stanols. 5. Protect your mental health and sleep. But here's the thing. These aren't just tips to try for a few weeks and then forget about. The real magic happens when these habits become as automatic as brushing your teeth. The truth about habit building. We don't rise to the level of our motivation, we fall to the level of our systems. That means the less you rely on willpower and the more you make these habits part of your environment, the easier it gets. Practical example. Keep a jar of walnuts or almonds on your desk so plant sterols are always within reach. Set a daily phone reminder to take a 10-minute walking break. Meal prep high-fiber lunches for the week so you don't default to fast food. Think of it like building automatic wins into your day. The mindset shift, from restriction to empowerment. One of the biggest reasons people give up on lowering LDL cholesterol naturally is because they approach it like a punishment. Cutting out foods they love, forcing themselves into workouts they hate. But when you flip the script and think, I'm doing this because I want to feel stronger, sharper, and more alive, everything changes. Your focus should be on addition, not just subtraction. Add vibrant, colorful foods to your plate. Add movement to your day that makes you feel good. Add moments of stillness that calm your mind. When you shift from I have to I get to, lowering LDL stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like an investment. It's never too late to change. Let me tell you about George, a 67-year-old retired mechanic from Ohio. For decades, he ate the standard American diet, lots of processed meats, fried foods, and almost no vegetables. His LDL hit 189 milligrams per deciliter, and his doctor told him medication was the only option. But George had one request. Give me 6 months to try it my way first. Here's what he did. Breakfast swap. Oatmeal with flax seeds and berries instead of bacon and eggs. Daily movement, 20-minute walks with his dog, rain or shine. Stress control. Joined a local woodworking club, which gave him joy and social connection. Plant power. Added a handful of mixed nuts to his afternoon routine. 6 months later, his LDL had dropped to 142 milligrams per deciliter, his HDL was up, and he'd lost 14 pounds. He wasn't perfect every day, but he was consistent. His doctor smiled and said, I don't need to prescribe you anything. You've prescribed yourself a new lifestyle. George's story proves something powerful. You're never too old, too busy, or too set in your ways to make meaningful change. The one thing to remember, lowering LDL cholesterol isn't about chasing perfection, it's about consistent, small wins that add up over time. If you walk away from this video with only one thought, let it be this. Your arteries don't care about short bursts of effort. They care about what you do most of the time. Even if you start with just one habit from this video, that's a win. Because small wins compound, and over months and years, they transform your health. Lesson and personal takeaway. Here's what I've learned, not just from research, but from watching people's lives change. Your body is incredibly forgiving when you give it the right fuel, movement, and rest. The miracle cure isn't in any single food or workout. It's in the combination of consistent, nourishing habits. And perhaps most importantly, taking care of your heart isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried lowering LDL cholesterol through lifestyle changes instead of medication? What worked for you and what didn't? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and your experience might just inspire someone else to take that first step. And if you found value in today's video, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss our weekly deep dives into natural health, wellness, and the science behind them.